Welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to show you how to migrate a SolidCP SQL Server Database to MySQL, so you can use MySQL as a database backend for an existing SolidCP installation. First of all, you have to upgrade the SolidCP database to the latest version, and we are here in this solution here, web portal and enterprise server combined. And so you go to the project enterprise server data, and here to legacy scripts, and here is the update SDB-SQL. And if you have not yet updated your database to the latest SolidCP version, you need to run this script, update DB-SQL on the SQL database, SQL Server database, to upgrade the database to the latest SolidCP version. And you have to we replace this here, and also the build version. We don't have to include those. And then we connect to the database. Enter the credentials here. So we connect to the database, and then we upgrade the database by running the update DB-SQL script. And after we have run this script, we also need to run the migration script to upgrade the database to the latest version. For this we have to run this script here. In the migrations folder, in the SQL Server folder, the install SQL Server SQL script. This did execute, and then we run this script here. Also here we have to connect. And then we run this script also. There's some errors, and these are still bugs in the script, but normally you shouldn't have errors. I have to debug this. There's still some bugs in the script. I don't know why, because it's generated by .NET Entity Framework migrations, so there shouldn't be any errors. Maybe it's in the stores procedures, some errors, I don't know. But there's still some errors in the script. Okay, the query completed. So I have upgraded the SQL Server database, and then we want to migrate to MySQL, this database. So we install a fresh MySQL database, and into this database we're gonna install migrate the SQL Server database. So first we have to open the install MySQL script. With this script we're going to install a fresh MySQL database for SolidCP. So we copy all this script with Control A, and then with Control C we copy the text, and then we open the MySQL workbench, and then we connect to our server. and then we I have to drop this here, drop schema, and then first of all we create a new schema for the database. Here, new schema, and we call it SolidCP from MySQL. No, from SQL Server. SolidCP from SQL Server. So we create this schema, and now we use a query, and we paste the script from Visual Studio to initialize the MySQL database. And then in order to run the script on this database, we set it as default schema, and then we can run the script on this schema. Now it installs a fresh SolidCP database on this schema. Yes, and then next, when this is finished, we can go to the Windows administration tools. I have a German Windows installed here. It says Windows Verwaltungsprogramme, but this is German. In English it says Windows administration tools, and here we select ODBC data source, and if you have a 64-bit operating system, you need to choose this one, and if you have a 32 operating system, you need to choose this. So we select this ODB source, and then we create a new source, and we select SQL Server, and we can name it SolidCP SQL Server Database, and as server we choose local, and then next, and we choose SQL Server authentication, and as username we choose system administrator, then we enter the password, and we choose as a standard database Solids, the name of our database, SolidCP, and next we want the language in English, and that's it. I think we test it, and it says successful. So we have here our SolidCP SQL Server Database ODBC source. And then back in MySQL Workbench, we choose Database Migration Wizard in order to migrate the SQL database to MySQL. Then we click Start Migration, and as a source we choose Microsoft SQL Server, and then connection method we choose ODC data source, and then we choose this data source we've created, and as a password we enter the password, and database we say SolidCP database, then as a target we choose our MySQL server, and also the password, and as a default schema we choose SolidCP from SQL Server. So we have entered the database schema wrongly. What's the name of SolidCP from SQL Server? SolidCP from SQL Server, and in the migration I've entered SolidCP from SQL Server. So what's the problem here? So SolidCP, I spelled it wrongly. Yeah, just let's call it differently. I misspelled the name of the database schema. Okay, now it's retrieving the schema list, and now we say what we want to migrate. We want to migrate SolidCP DBO, and here we select only one schema, catalog schema table to catalog table. We only want to export one schema. And now it's retrieving all the data tables in this schema. And now we want to import all those tables, and we don't import the views. We don't need the views, as the views in MySQL are handled by Entity Framework. They are simulated by Entity Framework because MySQL is using Entity Framework to access the database, so it does not need any views. And also the store procedures, we don't want them in the MySQL database. So we choose next. And then on the next dialog, we can review the objects, but it said 93 objects, so it took all the tables, so we don't have to review this. Make sure there's no views. Object was not migrated, that's okay. And also here object was not migrated, that's also okay. So from here we can continue, and we don't create the schema in the target DB database because we already created the schema with the install script. So we just create this, we don't create a schema and we don't create a script. So we select this here, we keep the existing schema we created from the install script. And then we call next, and now so we did nothing here, we didn't copy the schema, And now we copy the data, and we have to select this option, truncate target tables, before copying data. We need to delete all the seed data in the fresh MySQL database created from the script. So we want to delete the seed data, so we select this option here. And this one here, I'm not sure about what to select here, but let's leave it as it is. And you have to do research on the internet if you have to select this option or not. I don't know if it's needed or not. That's something to still to find out. And then we can copy right away the data tables. And now it's copying the data, and this can go quite some time, because our audit log table, it has a huge data in the audit log table, all the log entries in the audit log. And this is also a reason why you want to switch to MySQL database, because the audit log, it can exceed 5 gigabytes, and SQL Server Express is only limited to 5 gigabytes. So that's also a reason why you want to switch to MySQL database for SolidCP. Now it's copying the audit log data table, and so I'm pausing now the video, because this is going to take a long time. So we're almost finished with copying the objects. Now we're finished, and then I think we're done. This is the logs. Yes. And finally, we have here the migration report. There's some error messages, but I'm not sure if those are severe or not. It didn't alter the database schema, so it just copied the data, so there shouldn't be anything wrong. And we can click finish, and we're done. And now we have this database here that is compatible with SolidCP, and we have migrated the SQL Server SolidCP database to this database schema in MySQL. And finally, the last step is we have to adjust the connection string in the installation of SolidCP, so it doesn't connect to SQL Server, but it does connect to the MySQL database. And if you have in the source code of SolidCP, you can do this in Web Portal or in Enterprise Server, depending on if you run Enterprise Server or if you run Enterprise Server integrated into Web Portal, or if you run a separate web application with Enterprise Server. So in our case, we have Enterprise Server integrated, so we set the connection string in Web Portal, in the web config of Web Portal. And so we just change the connection string here in this section, and SolidCP uses this connection string here that's called Enterprise Server. And so at the moment this is configured for MySQL, but usually if you migrate to MySQL, this will be the SQL Server connection string. So you just have to change this connection string to the current connection string. So you delete this here, and then you adjust the connection data, like the port and the password and the user, and then you change this to old, and then you're good to go. And but of course, this is if you have the source code, if you work with the source code. If you have an installation of SolidCP, you might want to run Visual Studio Code and just open the folder of your installation of Enterprise Server or web portal, and we choose here our source code folder. So we go to SolidCP sources and then to the portal, SolidCP web portal, and we choose this folder. Let's try again. Didn't work. Web portal. And so we choose our web config here, and then we can change the connection string here in the web config of the installation of SolidCP portal. And then you should be ready to access the portal over the MySQL database. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.